Hi everyone, Marilyn O'Malley here of MarilynO'Malley.com. And the subject today is, are you arrogant to want everyone to like and love you? And I want to share uh, a couple questions with you. Do you believe everyone you date should like and love you? Otherwise, you think something is wrong with you. Do you go out of your way to make people think good things about you? You don't want to rock the boat. You don't speak up. You don't offer opinions. You want to keep the peace and love. You know, you always, if you're asked your opinion or whatever, what do you want? You're like, oh, well, what do you want? You just put it back on them. Um, are you disappointed when someone doesn't like and love you, even if you don't like them? You just unconsciously or consciously have this programming that everybody should like you. And if they don't, there's something wrong with you. It has nothing to do with them, right? That's not true. So, has this got you laughing, or are you a little shocked, kind of thinking about it? Thinking, wow, do I? What do I? Are you going out on dates with agendas? Are you going out? Is your life run by agendas? I was just talking with a client about this, about how agendas can be very manipulating, and it takes you out of the moment. It has you focused on a goal, and you can miss a lot in business, in relationships, in all areas of your life. So I found this out. You know, I was when I realized it, I was like, I was kind of in shock, going, "Oh my gosh, look at I'm so directed and wanting to be directed by having them love and like me, which will validate me or make me feel good about me." That everything I did was all about, like, so what do I have to do to make them love and like me, and then everything will be okay, and then I'll be all right, and then you have to do that with everybody, and then you know, and if any one of those falls at any time, so does our self-esteem or our confidence, whatever we have weighing on that, right? So I want to share with you where this comes from. Are you interested in that? Because this is fascinating, and I think by you realizing that you're doing this, and most of us do this, most of us have been taught to do this as children to make our parents happy, right? And if we make our parents happy, then we'll know that we're loved and we're liked. See, that's the one of the strange things, we have related happiness with people loving and liking us. And it really is, they're not necessary, other than connection, they're not really related in that way. So I'm going to try and I have a blog on this that's written out. There's a lot of information, so I'm just going to cover some things generally. And you can go to MarilynO'Malley.com and click on blogs, and then go to Are You Arrogant to Want Everyone to Love and Like You? And there's everything I have here that I'm covering generally is there in more detail. Um, Growing up sensitives, you know, we have the ability to tune into other people's feelings and emotions. And whatever feelings are running through the collective conscious, you know, we're sponges. We're taking in everything. And that experience can be overwhelming. And that experience can be anxious producing. And then when it starts we're starting to feel things that aren't us, and our body starts to give us information that we're feeling things that aren't us, and it creates some anxiety. Or we might pull in somebody's feelings of depression, or we might, or sadness, or even glee. Um, but what happens is because we don't understand that we're picking up on these energies, um, that it can start to make us feel sick, overwhelmed. We can want to hide out, go and hide out because we don't want to be around. We just figure like we don't want to expose ourselves. Number one, we don't want to share that we're feeling anxious or seem like there's something wrong with us. So we'll hide out more, and then when we hide out, we'll feel better because we're not as around as many people taking the energy on. But it can create, all sorts of things going on with us, depending on the stories that we make up about it, and it can become very unhealthy because there's no boundaries. It's just taking on these energies, and if you have toxic people in your home, or grandparents, or uncles, aunts, or people around you at school, teachers, whatever, and you're picking up on that toxic energy, it makes you feel toxic. And so imagine, being a young kid, a lot of you have had this experience. And so you're like, I don't want to feel this. I don't want to be this way. And you're taking it on like there's something wrong with you. Versus, because unless somebody in your family is teaching you, you're picking up on other people's energy, clear it, and shows you how to do that, right? And then you wouldn't have this problem, or this challenge with yourself. You don't get that, and so it's like you just know you're not feeling good. You're feeling this. You're feeling that. You're don't feel, and then you're doing different things to take care of yourself out of survival. So those things that you can end up doing to take care of yourself, out of yourself, for yourself, to not deal with the overstimulation, are you can shut down your feelings, right? So you start like putting up a wall. I'm not going to feel. Put up a wall. But what we don't recognize is when we put up a wall to not feel negative things, that wall also goes out to all the other feelings in our life. So you end up taking care of others in pain so you don't have to feel it. So we become caretakers, problem solvers for the people around us. So if we had parents who had addictions or mental problems, then we would want to make them happy, or we want to help them solve their whatever it is that's irritating them or making them unhappy or in pain. We want to come up with solutions for it. So what happens with those children is we grow up really fast. We don't get really to be in our childhood because now we become the parent in a lot of ways, and that can happen at a very young age, like 4 years old. That you're having to take responsibility and do things and grow up on your really quickly. So you want to take care of all those problems of the people around you, might be brother, sister, etc., in order so you don't have to feel it anymore. You put up a literal or energetic wall, isolating ourselves or distracting ourselves with addictions, TVs, games, sex, whatever it is. So we either go and hide in our rooms, right? We remove ourselves away from all that toxic energy or all that energy or overstill. It doesn't have to be even toxic. It's over. Like if you're in a big Italian family and everybody's like blah 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 blah, and there's a lot, and you're sensitive, and things are being thrown all over, and words that might not be to hurt, but it's just strong emotions. You're like and you want to go hide. So you might isolate. You might go off. So putting literal walls, or you start to, for child that, you have to be here in the room, so you might start playing games and watching TV, and that's where you can zone out and let go and not necessarily pay attention. You kind of put up another type of wall. You disconnect from others because you can't trust yourself or trust them to be intimate, to be vulnerable. So meaning you can't trust yourself to trust your feelings or your vulnerability with others, and with yourself, because again, you're very guarded because of all of the things that have happened around you. And in that guardedness, you probably also, if you've had parents that you couldn't trust, or siblings or friends, you've grown to kind of have this um, believing that you've got to be on guard about people you can trust, and so you don't trust people, and so you can't allow yourself to be vulnerable and feel your feelings. So those are some things that you'll do in order to protect yourself, to bring yourself um, to to be able to survive in the family and grow up. So if you, as you can imagine, those things affect your relationships, affect how you see the possibility of relationships, affect that, number one, you close down, and in order to have a really healthy relationship, it's actually opening up and being able to trust, to learn to trust and to be vulnerable. So so out of, the overstimulation of your nervous system, from picking up on all these energies around you and not knowing what to do with it, you end up tuning out. And some tuning out too is kind of leaving your body a little bit, going up into the spiritual world. Drugs, alcohol, meditating, just kind of withdrawing out of your body so you don't have to feel with your body. So this is why, I talk a lot about maintaining healthy boundaries, which the last blog was on. You can find that on my website, MarilynO'Malley.com. And so learning how to self-care, how to take care of yourselves is really important. Um, but let me talk to you a little bit more about why uh, why this is keeping you from having relationships. Because what happens is that when we shut down our feelings, right, we move into our heads and we're thinking about everything instead of feeling them, instead of feeling it from our hearts. And this is why we put everyone else first, because we think, because we make it that our other people matter more. What they're thinking about us matters more, because we're not feeling who we are, what's important to us, or what matters to us, or what's important. We think about it, but we can't find it inward because we're not spending any time inside of ourselves. We've made other people more important than us, and so we're wanting those people outside of us to like and love us in order to validate that we're okay, that we matter, that we're good enough, that we're worth it. All of those things that we question, our self-esteem. But here's the problem, is that those people that are outside, they're doing the exact same thing that you are, and they're wanting you to validate them, etc. But we all have our own perception. We all have our narcissistic worlds that we live in, and there's nobody that can know you like you. Nobody else has the answers for you. Nobody else knows your purpose and your passions and what drives you and what wakes you up and what you're here to do in the world, and how loving you can be and what you're here to accomplish, etc. Those are your things. And having somebody else giving you validation. And this is why it's so important, and unconsciously, that you are wanting them to love and like you, whether you're aware of it or not. And thinking that people should, unless you've kind of gone the other way, and it's like, fuck everybody, right? It's just like, I don't give a shit. And you might even move into the narcissist then. But if you do care about other people, and you do care about you, you're wanting people to love and like you, to give you feedback about you. And that is what relationships are about, is sharing information with each other, adding to each other's lives, helping each other grow and learn about who they are, and what they're capable of. And so relationships are incredible places for you to grow. And if you have an agenda for that person, then you can't be present for them to show up how they want to be, and with you being fully curious and interested in who that other person is. And then also you have an agenda in your mind about how you're trying to figure out, how do they want me to show up? How should I show up? Who should I be? How should I be? How should I look? What should I say? All those things are going through your head in order for them to love and like me. So that isn't being you. That's not you. So you're living from the outside in, and you're trying to figure it out, which is exhausting. And it also is inauthentic. It is not you. And also, if you're trying to find the partner of your life or find good friends, be yourself. And what I mean by that is, speak your truths, share your interests, share the nitty gritty that you've gone through, that has made you grow in your life, what you've been through, and what you've come through, because that makes you interesting. People don't want people to be like them. In relationships, we want each other to add to our lives. They don't want people who are wanting to make each other happy, to love them and like them with that agenda. You're needy. You're needing them. And so there's an agenda, and they can feel that neediness underneath for like me, love me, I need your, even though you might be like, I don't need you. But there's something, you can be cocky about it. There's all different ways that you might show up, and it's like, I don't care whether that person likes me or not. But underneath, there's a little bit of something running that is really wanting that person in some ways to come around and validate who you are. But just think about it. Do you think about the people in your life who have come into your life and they've been like, I don't care, I'll do whatever you want me to do. I don't care, I'll eat whatever you want. It doesn't matter, I don't matter. Whatever you want. Like, that is like so freaking boring. And just, what do you think about this? Oh, I don't know. What do you think about it? This keeps turning on. It's like, do you think like, oh my gosh, who is this person? It just feels like you're just a body with nothing in there. And all of you guys are interesting. All of you have incredible lives and things that you've come through. Start sharing that. That's another thing there's just so much here. Talking with another client, and she was telling me that during this time that she's been going through a super hard time. I mean, really just very hard. And she comes from from the financial industry, so there was lots of money, lots of stuff, lots of high-powered women doing things, in high-powered, high-paying jobs, which she ended up leaving because she just knew that wasn't the way she wanted to go. But while she was going through a period of time that was really hard for her, and she was sharing that, none of her other friends who were these high-powered women were sharing that they were going through a hard time. It's like everybody had to keep up the mirror that they were going through a hard time until the hard time was over. and that she actually was, in a lot of ways triggering like their worst fear. Um, but it's, man, it's hard when you can't be vulnerable and share and you're ashamed that you're going through a challenge, that you're growing, that that's what we're here for, to help each other, and that's what builds character. That's where you crack open and you see the light of who you are, and it wakes you up, and your life gets really juicy. And if we could support each other in living that, it would be fantastic. And yet these strong, powerful women who felt they needed to hide that part from each other, where they could have really been empowering and cheering each other on um, during that, and not felt so alone, and or felt it was so hard. Um, so let me just check my notes here. So is any of this relating? Can you relate to this and see, like, and think about, like, oh my gosh, can I start to take a stand for who I am? And so the whole thing around this is basically is just sharing. You grow up being programmed to make people love and like you, because through your parents, through schools, through whoever is surrounding you in the beginning, and to how they bring you up. Um, and those relationships are impactful, but it's like you've got to realize that you learn to do things as a highly sensitive to protect yourself out of survival as a child, and you have to understand those worked as a child up to a certain point, but they do not help you grow into a mature adult who can have a relationship any longer. So this is why, let's wake up here and see that thinking that you have to make others like and love you is immature. It's your little girl or little boy that is thinking that, and learning how to now grow into, have a mature understanding of who you are as an adult, and what it is that you bring to the world in your beingness, and what is valuable to you, and sharing that with the rest of us. And until you can do that, you are not going to attract to you the right friends, lovers, husbands, or wives, because as long as you are being inauthentic, you will attract others who will see you and be inauthentic themselves. Or you will attract an authentic, but because you can't allow yourself to love yourself, you're not going to allow somebody else to love you. So as long as you're out there asking for validation, you're not going to find it, because you can't. If you're looking for them to say, you're okay, you're great, you're lovable, you're good enough, you're worthy enough, you're safe, all that stuff, it's not them that makes you feel that way, it's you. And you've got to find that in here. And you have it. It's all there. It's all there. It's nothing's out here. You don't have to go out here anywhere. It's all in here. But you're going to have to break down those barriers that you set up as a child, and start feeling, and start learning how to manage your energy so that you're not taking on everybody else's energy. That's creating healthy boundaries and self-care, etc. So learning how to do that, and learning, allow yourself to feel, not think about your feelings, but really feel. And you can start that by just asking yourself, what am I feeling right now? And just sit there and experience it. And even if it's like I can feel tingling in my big toe, I can hear my heart pounding. I can feel my heart pounding. And I feel like this is funny, to be sitting here thinking this. So whatever, just periodically to start doing that. Now I'll share a couple things here. But the other thing I want to share is life is about being, not doing. And so when you are setting agendas or thinking that somebody has to like and love you, right? And you're looking for that husband or that partner or friends, and or going after, right. Let's keep it on the relationship bit. You are thinking that you have to show up and do things a certain way in order to have that. And I'm here to tell you that being you, vulnerable, authentic, saying, authentically what's happening, I'm struggling right now with this, or, I was unconscious and then I woke up with an illness and it woke me up, and these are all the things that I learned about myself. And in that process of learning that over the years, I started creating artwork, or I created this nonprofit business, or I'm now doing this, and I continue to learn about myself, and I hit rock bottom, but now I'm living a life that really makes me happy, and that's like honest and vulnerable, and that's interesting, and that's being. Saying, oh, nothing, I don't care, I don't matter, I'll do whatever you want. That is not authentic. And it's not interesting. And people want to be around interesting people. I know you want to be around interesting people. You want to save your life, and you want to find those right, interesting people. So like, start to not be nice, be interesting, and weed out those people that they don't need to like and love you. Get rid of the ones that don't matter. It's a numbers game, and find the ones that really can be there for you, that can be there for you when you are going through something, and you can be there for them, and they care, and you add to each other's life. That is substance. That's connection. So what is part of the process is, starting to live from the inside out versus the outside in. That's what that means, right? So and on the blog, I have 10 steps to attract the right friends and soulmates. And so I'm just going to say a couple here and then close up, and you can go to the website and see some of those, or I might just read them all off. Stop being so nice and be more vulnerable and interesting. You will build confidence and self-esteem learning to be vulnerable. Number 2, start being selfish and consider your needs and desires first. Get your needs met. You can't help someone else if you can't help yourself first. Stop believing everyone should like and love you. Find those friends and soulmates that really matter and get you and add to your life. Number 4, stop taking responsibility for other people's happiness and pains. Other people's problems are not yours. Empower them to solve their problems. 5, start allowing yourself to feel your feelings. Check in every hour and ask yourself, what am I feeling? 6, notice and then work on letting go of any addictions and distractions like drama, chaos, and adrenaline that you get from being needed and solving other people's problems. What do you get out of doing that? Set healthy boundaries. I told you can go to my website, MarilynO'Malley.com, and look for how to set healthy boundaries for highly sensitive people. 8, realize you were born worthy and good enough. You came into the world worthy and good enough. Nobody else can give that to you. You already are it. Be present fully in your body, all the way down into your lower chakras, your power center. Get in your body. This is where you're experiencing the world. This is where you create. This is where your passion, purpose, drives are, not out of your body and not in your thinking mind. Make your interests, passions, and purpose a priority. When you are full, you have energy to give to others. And then also on the website, or you can look up on YouTube, I have a tapping for It's Not Safe to Be Me YouTube that I shared. But I hope you all find something in this that you can use and grow from, and that will help you find find your friends, your partners in life, and that your life will be interesting and full, and that you will have so much of a better understanding of who you are, and allowing yourself to authentically be you, vulnerably be you. Know that, whatever you experience is something that you can draw off of on your life. And the more vulnerable and authentic you can be, you give that allowance to all of those other people around you. And there isn't a greater gift that you can give humanity, I think, than modeling self-love and self-respect. Because when we have that for ourselves, we can have that for everybody else, right? All right, so, and if you guys are dealing with any of the issues that I talked about on here, or any of the issues that you can relate to on my website, call me for a free discovery session. I'm here for you, and this is, I'm here to empower you to create whatever it is that you desire, and particularly for those highly sensitive women that are here to lead, to stand out, to speak up, and to matter in the world. We need to support each other, and that is my business, is really supporting you and shining that light and making that difference that you've come here to do, and find those relationships that that support you in being the best you. All right. Take care. Until next time.